Hello everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. I am Teresa with Keep in Touch Crafts, and we are going to be working on a project tonight, a paper project that is kind of a little tougher than the stuff that we normally do, but you can do it. This is going to be a lot of fun. It's a bit of a challenge, but I think you're up for it, right? You can always do some screenshots. You can take notes, make a pattern, that kind of thing. And for me, this is the kind of stuff I love to do because I kind of like that challenge of, can I do this? Am I going to be able to do that same thing that I just saw somebody make, or that kind of thing? So hopefully you'll feel the same, and then you'll be able to make something kind of special and unique. At least I thought it was. This past week I was asked to present a project at a group meeting. It was my uplines team meeting. And there were a lot, big amount of demonstrators there. I was a little bit nervous, but this is what I did with them. And it's just so much fun to get together with people who are like-minded and love to do the same craft and the same hobby that we all enjoy together. So I'm hopeful that you will get a lot out of this. This is going to be a little gift box, or you could put some little treats in it, that kind of thing. So we will work on that together tonight, okay? Feel free to let me know where you're coming from, where you're watching from. I know some of you might be YouTube or Facebook Live, or it may be a replay, so welcome and thanks for tuning in. Feel free to subscribe, share, like, all that good stuff. It helps a lot. And, and spread the word and let others come, and we can get together and keep paper crafting every Thursday at 8 p.m. Central is when I usually come on live here. So welcome. Let me take a look here and see if everything's all set up and running smooth. So far, so good, I believe. And let's look at a couple let's look at a couple Stampin' Up! Things that are going on, and then we are going to get to our project. So let's do that. One moment here. All right, so I'm going to show you a couple things, and one of them is here right now. Today's the day. There's a special going on. It's a 24-hour stamp sale. If you have had your eye on a stamp set in the annual catalog, today, which is the 15th of September 2022, if you have something that you have your eye on, if you place an order today, they are having some great sales, 15% off on a bunch of the stamp sets from our annual catalog. So feel free to, if you go to this website, then you'll be able to get in on that deal. And they're also having weekly deals going on where there's discounted products. Every week they're changing it out for the month of September. So you'll be able to go there and see what's going on. We have some dies that are a limited edition for September as well. So feel free to check it out. Let's see what else. All right, so also we have this Perfect Partners going on right now. And what this is, let me get my banner off of there, wherever it may be here. I'm going to get this taken off so that it's not in the way so you can see better. Anyway, so there's some dies. This is only a portion of them, but some of the dies in our annual catalog didn't have, some of our stamp sets did not have coordinating dies, and they are releasing a few dies for a few stamp sets for a limited time. So if you're interested in that, feel free to go to that same place and take a look around and just look at all of our sales, our clearance. We have a lot of good deals going on. If you need help with any of that, with ordering or anything, let me know and I'd be more than happy to help you. All right, let's get our supplies for our box. And I'm going to put the camera down here, and you're going to be able to keep an eye on what we're doing. Here's the trimmer. Let's pull in some cardstock and some goodies. I am going to be using, we have a couple of sets here. Limited edition has a lot of kind of those stamps that are a handmade stamp, one of a kind, made with love, limited edition, just for you. And I'm going to use this stamp today, a paper hug from me. And that's going to be the sentiment on the outside of the box that I'm going to be making. And I'm going to be using some of the items from this bow. Oh, what is it called? I had it written down here. I'll have to find that in a minute. That's from our smaller catalog that we have right now. It has a lot of holiday things in it. And there is a suite, and it has a lot of this holly, and it's just really a pretty set. Let me grab the paper that we can use for that. Okay. So the paper that comes with it is called Boughs of Holly, and I may have shown you this before, I'm not sure. Just some real unique papers in this set. Of course, there's the classic poinsettia in a larger version there, and some trees in different green colors, some pine trees, I guess it is. And I just love this look to it, this colored, just kind of a general, kind of a background piece. And then this is the one I'm going to use today, just kind of an overall Christmassy looking from the paper from the Boughs of Holly. And these are the colors that are in that paper. So we are going to grab that. All right, so I am going to use Evening Evergreen tonight. And I am going to use a strip of designer series paper. You can have whatever pattern you want, but you want to make sure that your designer series paper strip is oriented. If there's a direction to it, you want it like this. So you can kind of see, like right now, this one looks upside down. So that's why I want to have it this way. You don't want your pattern this direction either. So you want a designer series paper that is 7 inches long and 1 3/4 of an inch wide here. Okay, and then you're going to need a piece of paper that is cut from a circle. If you have layering circles dies, if you have a punch circle, but right around 2 or 2 1/4 of an 2 1/4 inch circle. And I've cut it out of this same paper, but I think I'm going to have this color show. This will go on the bottom of our project to kind of hide some of our tabs that are on the bottom. And then, what else am I using? I am using Cherry Cobbler ink. I am using a piece of our, isn't this gorgeous? It's our glimmer paper, and it comes in that same Evening Evergreen. So that is going to be a layer for my sentiment. And I'll need a little bit of white for our sentiment as well, just to scrap that, because I'm going to punch them out of our layered oval set that we have. You can use any kind of a tag. You could use another circle like we're putting on the bottom. Just don't, it shouldn't be too big. I think the limit was, oh goodness, let me remember here. A sentiment shouldn't be any higher than, or any kind of taller than about, I thought I had written, okay, about 1 3/4 of an inch high. So don't have one that's really, really high, I guess. You'll see why in a moment. You're going to need dimensionals. You're going to need some tear and tape or Seal Plus, or Seal some strong adhesive. And this is the one little stamp I'm going to need, that paper hug one I was telling you about. One other thing that is going to be necessary is if you have some kind of a scoring tool that has that little ball on it. Now our Take Your Pick tool comes with this little piece that has the 2 scoring balls on it. One is bigger than the other, and I'm going to use this the smaller one. So we're going to be doing a little scoring with a straight edge or a ruler. And also I would use a trimmer that has a scoring blade and a cutting blade. Okay, so we will bring this back in a moment. Dimensionals, our nice, or even liquid adhesive will be fine too. I'm going to be using some little pearls that come from the Festive Pearls Lights Aglow is what it's from. They're red and green adhesive backed pearls. I'm going to use some of those. There's gold, silver, kind of a really lighter green color, and then the cherry cobbler color. And that's in our mini catalog that's out now. All right, so the first thing I want to do is get our trimmer and our base cut and scored. So we'll get the hard stuff out of the way here. Not this hard, I shouldn't say that. It's just something that takes a few steps, and if you just keep your eye on this, you know, maybe get some screenshots, take notes or whatever, you can do this. It's really fun. You'll love doing it, I think, too. All right, so all we need to start with is a half a sheet of our 8.5 by 11 paper, and we're gonna, so that's 5.5 by 8.5. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this one in half, and this is, we'll just use one of them. And the first thing we're gonna do is make some scores in this orientation so that the shorter side is up. The first score is gonna be at 2 3/8. So go to 2 1/4 and then go a half of a square further. And that is our 2 3/8, and we're gonna do a score, not a cut. So I'm scoring that one. And then we are gonna go over to 4 1/4 and do the same thing, a nice score. Now turn your cardstock 1/4 of a turn counterclockwise. And now we're going to do some scores every inch. All right, so score at 1 inch and 2 inches and all the way across up until 8 inches, I believe, is our last one. Just keep pulling it across there every inch. If you don't have this kind of a trimmer, you can just use a straight edge and mark it, mark it every inch and make a score line every inch along here on our project. So the next one I wanted to do is 5 inches and 6. Just want to make sure you can see what I'm doing yet. 7, we got it. And 8. All right, so we have a scored sheet that is scored like, first of all, I want to show you this. Here's one of our first pattern, and it is, I'm trying to get it on all on the screen here for you. So this is 5.5 by 8.5. Your first score is at 2 3/8, then 4 1/4. And then if you turn it, it's showing every inch is scored as well. So now you can see we have kind of a narrow panel over on the right hand side. Keep that on your right, okay? And then we'll be able to keep assembling. So now your paper should look like this, okay? And this one does look like that, but it is just hard to see that on screen. So I wanted to make sure you could easily see what we have, what we're doing on here, since the camera doesn't pick it up very easily. Now I would ask you to go ahead and grab a pencil. We're going to be making some marks. And what we're going to do is we are going to put some dots on just on this very top smaller area. And what we're going to do is everywhere that a line goes to the end of the paper here, we're going to put a dot on there with our pencil. And then where the line intersects here as well. So you are going to put dots on your paper just like I did on here. Now these are big and they're like dark. I did that just so you can see what you're doing, but that's what you're going to be marking on your paper, okay? So I will go ahead and do that as well. Just the very top section. And we'll put a little dot there, and this is one of those projects where you're going to need good light. you're going to need to be able to see well what you're doing. And hence that's why I'm trying to have really good patterns for you and visuals so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so I did that on here, and I bet I didn't put them here yet either, on the very ends. Okay, very good. And I don't know if you can see it, but it looks like that. Okay. Next, what we're going to do is we are going to trim something off. So you can see on this one, there's a little bit trimmed off on this side. So you're going to trim off this small edge, and then you're going to miter or angle cut your corner here. So let's do that. So if you bring in your paper snips, we are going to cut away on this right hand side, this kind of rectangular section. Just follow those score lines. And then just make an angled cut so that you're kind of making a tab. Okay, you see that all right? All right, so we have dots and a tab now. And the next thing we're going to do is score. We are going to do some scoring on this paper at a diagonal. So go ahead and I would suggest, if you have it, this is a piece of foam, and it's great for scoring on. So I have a little piece of foam under here. I am going to grab a straight edge, and I'm going to grab that tool I was telling you about earlier. And what we're going to be doing is basically scoring diagonally from one dot in the upper left corner of your upper rectangle to the bottom right of that one. So you're going to go across with your straight edge, and you're going to make lines across like that. Then you're going to come back and you're going to go the other direction. So you're basically scoring an X in each section along that top part there. So I'm going to do it along with you, and you might not be able to see well what I'm doing because this is just hard to see. I guess I could have tried it on a different colored paper to see if that's any better, but that's why I did that exaggerated type of visual for you, so that you can be doing this just along with me, and you're going to be able to tell from that what you're supposed to be doing. Okay, does that make sense? If you ever have questions, let me know. I don't even remember where I got this pattern from. I've had it in my pattern stash for, I don't know, what, 5 years maybe. And I hadn't written down where I found it. So whoever did this, thank you. It's probably been around a while, but it's one of those that I have as a go-to. You know, when you want to make something special for somebody and, you know, you just need something small. This is fun, and, you know, for that. It's kind of a little bit of a wow factor. And it's also kind of one of those fun challenges. All right, so I'm hoping I'm getting these going the right place. Just stop at that first score line. Okay, let's keep going here. Now, when you're doing this at home or wherever you are crafting, you're going to be able to like get a little closer, put your head right over it, and you'll be able to see a little bit better than what I can do here, because I have to kind of do it away from myself. So I'm hoping I'm doing a good enough job and getting them in the right spot. But you might need your readers for this one, right? Your bifocals or whatever. But you can do this, guys. It's worth it. It's worth kind of that extra, I don't know, extra tediousness. It's really fun to do. If you have an 1/8 of an inch, oh, it moved on me, an 1/8 of an inch hole punch, that would be another thing that you might need. And what you can do now is you can just choose to do this on its own, but I'll just show you. What I'm going to do now is make another set of score marks. You don't have to score. You can just pinch them, and I'll show you what that means in a moment. We're going to be putting a score line right here, okay, all the way across. Now, you don't have to score it if you don't want. You can just push this together and pinch it. But I'm going to try doing it with score lines and see if that is a little bit easier. And so that is what I'm going to do now, is just kind of make this little bit of a score mark in this top portion of the X is kind of what it is. And I'm trying to make sure it's nice and straight and not just kind of crooked or whatever. I have a little, looks like a little bug was flying around, so that's, hope it's not distracting. It is to me. All right, keep going all the way across. Lots of scoring here. But we are almost done with that part. Okay, now go ahead and grab your bone folder, because we're going to want to do some creasing on all of these score lines. So let's go ahead and I flipped it upside down, and here's this first area. We'll give that a nice crease. So you want them to have a nice sharp crease on them. Probably don't need that anymore. All right, and then all of those 1-inch areas, we're going to do that as well. When I did this the other night, I forgot this part. Can you believe it? Like, this is what can really make it nice, and oh, it can really make a difference to have these nice crisp folds. And I forgot to do it, but I think I caught it early enough that I could tell them, oh, don't forget to burnish your score marks. Oh, goodness. Okay. Now, this next burnishing we're going to do is going to be a little bit different. It's a little bit tedious, but what you're going to want to do is bone folder or crease on these X's now, and do it back this way. So you're going to fold it back and kind of give it a little score, and then you're going to keep doing that. Now, if you want to just kind of press it really nice with your fingers, that should work pretty well. If you want to try to flip it over and lay it down, that's another way to do the same thing. You just kind of have to work with it so that you get it at the right angle, and you know, make it a comfortable position for you. So I kind of find that folding it back like this works pretty well. And I did all one direction, and now I'll do the other direction. The other half of the X, I guess. Okay, so I'm folding it back like that. And this will really help form the top of your box, which is kind of the area that's really, oops, let me see what I'm doing. Yes, I want to go back this way. There we go. I was going the wrong direction. So you don't need to do the one in between the last score that we did that was in the center, only partially, just a little bit down into that X. You don't have to do that one yet, because we are going to do that a little differently. So you can kind of see how it's taking on some shape here. And the next thing we're going to do is grab a 1/8 inch hole punch. Where did I put mine? Got it right here. Okay, found it. All right, so now those little score marks that you made that were just this halfway down, let's see, the ones that are shown on here as these dashed lines, that's what we're going to pinch and punch on now. What we're going to do is we're going to pinch the section back, just this top portion, and we're going to punch a hole right on that little section. So you can kind of see there what I'm doing. Then I'm punching right in the middle of that section. So that's kind of what we're doing. Okay, we're going to be doing that a punch on each side of this. So that's why you fold it, and then you just aim to punch right in that little triangle section, and do that in each of each of those dotted lines there. Okay, so let's work on this one together. We scored that a little bit, and so now we're going to punch it. And sometimes it can be a little bit of a challenge to get your punch in the right spot. It's like, it's a small area, and you don't want to make an extra crease or anything. But I don't know if you can see what I'm doing there. I'm just punching it, and it's folded over. Okay. Okay. Now try not to go too close to the edge. You can see this one. See how close to the edge I went on that? It'd be better to be down a little bit more, but I don't think that'll hurt anything. Just try not to rip it. You don't want to like go to the edge all the way. So like go more towards this area. Yeah, that one was better. So this is what you're aiming for, is having your score mark here and your punched hole, one on each side of that score. Boy, this is hard to see, isn't it, guys? Kind of trying to show you it at an angle, but it's easier to show, I guess, with the white. All right, so that's what we're doing, punching now. So let's go all the way across on there, and you want to make sure, you see how this little triangle is right there? This little triangle. You just don't want to wreck the structure of that. You want to keep that a nice crisp triangle. So just on top of that here is where we're going to be punching. Oh, goodness. Okay, what am I doing? You can kind of like look inside and see where your punch is going. There might be other hole punches too that might work easier. This is just one I've had forever, and it's in my, I don't know if any would be better or not, but this is doing the job. I think a 1/16 of an inch, a really small one, would be a little bit too small. And I think the regular hole punch is more like 1/4 of an inch. That might be too big, but you might be able to get that to work. You could try it and see and let me know. I haven't ever tried it. I thought it's just a little too big. Whoops. I know not everybody has a 1/8 punch. You could even just try to make your own holes, like if you would just put it down and put a little something in there and kind of make a hole, that way. If in a pinch, you could try that if you don't have this 1/8 of an inch punch. All right. We're almost done with this part. Okay. Come on, get in there. All right, there. That part's done. That's not the funnest part, but it works. So here we are. We're getting there, guys. We're making some tracks. So the next thing I want you to do is you're going to cut on your score lines on this bottom section. That's the long. Just cut up to that first score line. And so what you're going to be doing is just cutting it up to this point like that. Okay? So go ahead and cut on each score line up to that first horizontal score line. Okay, this is going to be the bottom of our box. And this will help make it, give it a little bit more sturdiness, that kind of thing. Okay, so we got that done. Another thing we're going to do is, so with your right the portion on the right, again, like we've been doing, we're going to put some either tear and tape or seal, whatever strong adhesive you have. You're going to put it right there. I'm going to use Seal Plus. And I'm going to put that right in that on that tab. So I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of shiny. And just put an adhesive there on that portion. Then, okay, so here it is like so. Flip it over and then fold it in half or so. On any of these spots is fine. But what you're doing is folding it flat, and then we're going to push this side over right onto that adhesive, and we're going to lay it down nice and flat, and then that's going to get it right where we need it. Give that a good press there. And that is going to make the start of our structure, okay? Now another thing we can do is I like to mark where the back is. And I just grab a Post-it note, a little portion of one, just cut off a little piece of it. And then I'm going to put this onto the area where the seam is. Because I kind of want the seam portion to be in the back more of the focal point. I want the focal point of the box to be around here. So I am going to go ahead and mark just right by the seam. And it looks like it's going to fall right off. Okay, so that's just going to help me keep track of what's what. So the first thing we're going to do then is go to this section that's right next to that, and we're going to put these up, put it kind of upside down like so. All right, here was that section. So right next to that one, we are going to fold that flap in, and then we're going to, you can see how it kind of goes right straight across to another one. These two guys are going to be glued right on top of each other. So the first thing we want to do is, I usually prefer the liquid adhesive on this part. You could do it, however you prefer. But what I like about it is I can kind of wiggle it around a little bit and get it right where I want it, and then it'll kind of grab. So we are in this section that is, wow, my tag fell off already. Oh goodness, that's not a very good Post-it. I'm gonna try another one. Okay, because I just like to keep track of that panel that is the seam. So let's get another little one here. See if this guy will hang on better. And our seam was, it's hard to find it even when you have it right in front of you. I think that was it, yeah. So this was the seamed area, and we're starting next to it, right? Yep, okay, this is this section. And then if we put it upside down, we're pushing that over, and then the one directly across from it is the one it'll glue right on top of those. You see that? Yep, and kind of giving that a press so that glue will grab on. Okay, so then we're going to go back to this next one over here. And we're going to glue that one down, but you can see that this flap only touches this flap in the center. So we're going to just put a little of the liquid adhesive in the center, and then flop that one over towards this piece. And then this one will have the whole area to cover again, so we can kind of have be a little more generous there with our glue. And we're gonna, I kind of like to, get it so it's nice and in place where you want it. Kind of square it up a little bit. And we want those right on top of each other. And this is going to give that box a little more structure that way, okay? I like to press it too from the inside. All right, next we are going to go to this one then. Now this one again, we'll just need the glue in the middle. And then this one is going to use it all, pretty much all over on there. And we're almost done. Okay. Ooh. Right in place. And one more set. Now what I'm, you can see this is the one that was marked. So this is the back. So the reason that this is marked is so that when we can bend this one down, if this is the front of our project, I kind of just want the front one to continue on back, and that'll be the last one glued down. So this one is that center one. We'll get a little bit in the middle with our adhesive, and then this last one goes here. Like so. Give that a good press. And it'll really adhere well and get a nice strong bottom there. Now I do want to kind of cover that up with that circle that we had cut out. So a 2 to 2 1/4 inch circle out of the Designer Series paper. And I'm going to pull that in here. And I've decided I just kind of wanted to use this side. And that kind of covers up a lot of that. So I'll just glue this on. Just kind of finishes it off a little bit. Give it a nice press. We don't need, yeah, I'm going to leave that on for one more step. Okay. All right, now before we do the next thing, I do want to get our stamping and that kind of thing out of the way. And I also want you to grab 13 inches of some kind of ribbon. It can be baker's twine, but use a double layer, so 26 inches if you do the twine, or some type of narrow ribbon. So some examples are, we have, this is a real lightweight, it's about 1/4 of an inch wide. I wouldn't go any wider than that. You just want something that can easily get pulled through some holes. Okay, we're going to cinch up our box with the ribbon. If you have anything like these two, these are very narrow, and if that coordinates with your Designer Series paper or your project that you're making, that might be another option for you. But just grab something that is you know, nice and easy to manipulate and thin. So I'm going to grab about 13 inches of this, and let's see where my ruler went. Here we go. I usually have this done beforehand. There's 12 and a little more. Okay. This is that same Evening Evergreen open weave ribbon. Okay, now what I'm going to do is go ahead and I'm going to put a little bit of tape on one of the ends, and I want to make it kind of like a shoelace where the end is kind of hard, and that helps you be able to kind of thread that through different areas. If you don't want to do it this way, or you don't find this helpful, you can try to use some kind of like an embroidery needle, and you might be able to, you could try getting it through that way. I heard somebody had done that after my demonstration on Tuesday, and they had good luck with that. So that is another option, but I'm going to be doing it just kind of with this tape on there, and then I'll trim that off. But before we do that part, let's go ahead and stamp our sentiment. This is a paper hug from me on a scrap here. And I'm going to use the cherry cobbler. Okay, I wonder if I needed to ink this a little bit. Well, that's way too high. I think I need a bigger piece. I'm just going to get a bigger scrap that'll be easier to stamp on. All right. I usually have 100 white scraps laying around. Well, sure, now that I need it. Okay, white. There we go. I am going to get a little bit bigger piece to stamp on, then I don't have to get it all like perfect on there. So let's do that. Paper hug from me, that's pretty good. I'll wash that off later. And let's pull in our punch. And I'm gonna, oh, my luck, it won't even fit. What was I thinking, you guys? Like, that won't work. That's too big of a sentiment for that. So I am going to go to plan B. I'm going to use, this one is one that we have that's called rectangular postage stamp. So I'm going to use that one instead. And I think I want it horizontal, actually. And if you have trouble getting it in there and you don't have something to hang on to, Post-its to the rescue again. This gives us a little reach. Okay, I need a little more than that. There we go. I want it nice and square and pretty. Okay, punch. And then I'm going to do the same size, the same punch with this blingy glimmer paper. I love it, and it's not the kind that gets a mess all over. It's very pretty, but it's not messy, so that's super nice. And what we can do is, let's take this, and we do have it in, I think we have it in red and white as well, different colors. Oh goodness. So I'm going to use my really strong seal, again, Seal Plus is this one is, and I'm just going to stretch that out a little bit to make it look like there's a full-size mat behind it. And we'll do this side as well. And I kind of want to get those the same. Okay, paper hug from me, yay. Okay, that is going to go onto our box once we get that done, and then we'll use those pearls and that kind of thing. So let's bring that, oh, what am I doing? I forgot one huge important step. We got to use our designer series paper. You can adhere your designer series paper before you put it together. That's what you're supposed to do. So what I'm going to do is take this strip, and it is 7 inches long, and each of these sections will have a little bit more narrow than an inch, so it's 7/8 of an inch wide. And I keep your paper in order as you're cutting it, because we want that pattern to continue around your box. So bring in your trimmer again, and let's cut this down to 7/8 of an inch all the way across. So now, if you're not sure, 7/8 is right between 3/4 and 1, so you're right in the middle there. And we are going to cut this strip into 8 sections that are 7/8 of an inch. Oops, that's my scoring blade. And so each piece you cut off, put it in a, set it aside, and you're going to keep them all in order. And I did kind of check this box size that I'm going to be showing, or that we're making. It holds those round thin mints really well. Perfect size for those, but you could always put, kisses or whatever. I couldn't find the thin mints that had the holiday patterns on them yet, which is fine. I'm in no hurry. But when we're making things for others for Christmas and that kind of thing, we have to plan ahead sometimes, don't we? So we're maybe hitting this a little early, but it takes time, and I enjoy doing it. And then when Christmas comes, we'll all be ready to go. All right, so we're going to be adhering those panels on each of these little panels as you go around. So I'm going to start. And I think I'm going to use my liquid adhesive, and I'm going to go from left to right. I don't know if you can see this, but I have them all in order, just right above this area. So try not to get to a big mess here. This is the hard way. It's a lot easier to do it before you construct the box. Oh goodness. Note to self. Okay, we can either put it on the paper or the or our box here. And I just want to make sure that, see how that pattern comes together? Yep, that's right. So we'll keep doing that all the way around. This is why you want your pattern of your paper oriented the right direction. Does it match? Yep. Okay. Does it match? Yep. Give those a good press. Keep on going around. Just try not to let it ooze out, which I probably did there because I was careless. Naughty. I'll clean that up later with my eraser, my gum eraser. Oh, can't believe I did that. And that doesn't match. That does. Whoo, I was almost putting it on upside down. That's why I always check. Okay, 2 left. One more. Okay, last one. I also saw one that another person made after the demonstration that I did, where they just took some white this size and stamped their sentiment on there, and so it said thanks, and it was just sideways like that. It was really cute. That was another cute idea I had seen. All right, so we can go find where our front is again, and we are going to thread our ribbon through there, and we are going to take that edge that end that has the nice tape on there, Now I want to find the front. Of course I took that thing off so I could find the seam. Here's the seam, so straight across from that, this is what I want as the front, okay, because you can see that is the last tab that went down. So this is my front panel. So I am going to start on the right half of this, and actually no, I'm going to, I did this last night too. Oh. What you want to do then is, if this is the front, I am going to start, do I want that to be the front? Yeah, so let's go ahead and pinch it together and put this end through there. We're going to start threading it around. Oh boy, this is a tougher one. It's kind of big. And so you're pinching it and threading it. You just don't want this to be too thick with tape, because then it's hard to get it to thread. So I wish I would have thought to get one of those needles like somebody used, in a bigger needle. You know, I know even for knitting they have some needles that have a bigger eye on them and that kind of thing. So that probably would be a good way to do it. But this works too. Just pinch it and thread it. Try to keep your ribbon fairly straight so it's not twisting too much, even though it's not really going to show a whole lot. Okay, now I'm all thumbs. Goodness, why isn't this one cooperating? That might be that back panel. Oh goodness, I don't know why I'm struggling with this one a little bit. Okay, one at a time on this one. This is where the seam is, and I'm noticing this is a little tougher. There's probably a couple layers to get through. And I just like to kind of squeeze it and roll it a little bit here to get it smaller so it'll thread easier. Let's see if I can do it again. I don't know why I can't get this one. Oh, I suppose I just ripped it. Remember when I punched one and I said that's a little too high? Yeah, that's why, yeah, that's not good. Because now it just ripped. I'm going to see if I can re-punch it lower. So I like to come, you know, purposely I run into all these problems so that if it happens to anybody else, we'll already be familiar with it, right? So I'm going to try to re-punch this lower so it's further away from the top edge. So let's see if we can do this. Please work. Okay, we'll see how it goes. It worked, but hopefully it's not too far down. Okay, we can do this. All right, there we go. We're getting there. And you might have to kind of just pull it so that this feeds through a little bit. We're going to go meet up around at this end. So pull that around and keep on going. It kind of reminds me of these little, do you remember, I think bags like purses people used to have, and they were macrame type, and then they would have a drawstring, like a gathered top that you would just pull this drawstring to close them. Kind of reminds me of that. However, it's not just going to be a plain drawstring type thing. It's going to make a cool shape, so be ready for something cool. Yes, you're going to be amazed, hopefully. All right, whew, we got there. So now what we're going to do is start gathering this together. We're going to pull this in. You want to go slow, one side at a time, and kind of coax it so that you want these triangles here to poke up. Okay, you don't want them like pressed down in a different way. All the way around, that is the area that you want left poking, you want that triangle very clear there. So what you kind of do is do a little bit on each side and start cinching that up. And coaxing those panels to do what you want. There we go. Just kind of look at each one, make sure it looks okay, it's going the right direction. And then, are you ready for this? What's fun is you keep pulling and it is going to start going inward, and then boom. How cool is that? Right? There is a kind of reminds me of a quilter's cross type, that kind of a cross. I wonder if there's a name for that, like a star, I guess I should say. Isn't that cool, you guys? I love it. So you put your stuff in there, and then you'll tie your bow. I'm going to kind of get this ready, and I'm going to give it a good tie. You don't want to knot it because you need your recipient to be able to open it up. So let's give that a little tie, and you have a cool box with the star on top. And then you can kind of make your bow plenty large because you don't want it so such a small bow, and you want to have plenty of ribbon there so that it can be reopened and retied. Okay, like that. Oh, I love this. It's so cool. Then we're going to decorate, put that little sentiment piece on there. Find that front again. And let's put this paper hug on some dimensionals. Here, dimensionals, where are you? Okay, we're getting there. And of course, you can bling up you could put little greenery strips or some of these die cuts that come from that stamp set, and the dies and that kind of thing. Those could be on there to decorate it. I'm kind of keeping it a little simple for now, but use your imagination for decorating. You could, there's a lot you can do with it. Just going to put 2 on here and find the front and put that right on the front. Okay, here we are. Like so. And one last thing is to put those pearls on there. And let's find which ones. I'm going to use the red. Oops. So let's put, I'll put 1 here. And I usually do 3. There's no like right or wrong. Okay, there we are. There is a cute little box with kind of a little wow factor. Yep, a little bit of work to it, a little bit tedious, but once you get used to it, you'll go a lot faster, and you'll be amazed at how, it's repetitious. So you can keep that in mind, and you just keep doing the same thing over and over, and after a while it's pretty slick. So I'm going to show you some other samples that I've made. I've made a lot. Now, I did mess around with the pattern and see how small I could make one. So this one's like 1 inch high. And that, in order to do any alterations on your pattern, however big this section is, that's where you add your height or your or take away some of the height, but this is how high your box is in this section. You're going to want to keep these the same. So if you want a deeper or bigger box, you'll increase this section, but you'll still want the same amount. So it'll be bigger than 5 1/2, 8 1/2. Does that make sense? And if you do that, then you can get one that's a little bigger like this one is. So I still have the same bottom. Haven't put anything on there yet, and it's not decorated really, but I just wanted to see if I would increase this side, how that would look. So that is an example where you can alter it a little bit. And I've made this one with the twine I was telling you about. I just used a double layer of that, and this is more of a fall look. And when you open it, I will show you that how it fits the little snacks or treats or goodies in there, and they'll open up and go wow, and they'll get a little whatever, right? A little goodie in there. Actually, I think I could fit four of these small York peppermint patty treats in there, and then they'll be able to reuse it again by retying it, and it goes back together. Anyways, okay, then I made a masculine version, Hello Handsome. And if you don't cinch it real tight, it might kind of poke up like that, but that's okay. You can get it to stay down and really crease these with your bone folder, and that'll help it, you know, stay in place a little better. Here's one for like a baby shower or baby. I thought this would be cute if you had a shower and each of your recipients you could put their name on it or whatever, but this is another out of our annual catalog. That's a pattern paper we have. And then this other Christmas one I did, this has more of the reds on it. Paper hug from me again, green ribbon, and I love that poinsettia on this paper. So pretty. All right, guys, I think that's it. Let's see here. All right, wow, probably a little longer. Oh, it's about an hour. I've had worse. I've had longer. I try to keep it less than that, but it seems like I just jabber too much. Thank you for joining me. If you have questions, let me know. Oh, hey, Cindy, thanks for joining me. Thank you very much. Hopefully you'll give it a try. And but anyways, have a great night, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I love it. And let me see what you make.